The New Knowledge Revolution. Authors: Ruolan, Changshan, Xueli, etc. Sharing reading insights even without prior exposure. Reading is the future. The world has entered the knowledge century. All competition and value are now based on knowledge, and the foundation of all knowledge begins with reading. Many countries are actively promoting reading movements, especially for children, starting as early as newborns, in the hope of cultivating the habit of active learning and lifelong learning capabilities in future citizens. This lays the groundwork for the knowledge economy competition. Spend at least a segment of time each day, putting aside all other matters, to read for yourself or with your children. Just a few pages every day can make a big difference in one's life. When facing an uncertain future, the ability to learn for a lifetime becomes the greatest safeguard. Former Minister of Education Zhang Zhilong pointed out that reading is the soul of education. Only through reading can we break the limitations of classroom education and have the possibility of lifelong learning. UK's former Education Minister Blunkett said that every time we open a book, it's like opening a window to the world. Reading is the foundation of all learning. Learning to read is the best way to liberate one's mind. Children with parents who love books are more likely to enjoy reading. As children's reading environment, if there is a trustworthy adult to provide assistance and share reading experiences, children will easily overcome various reading obstacles. Life begins with hearing stories from parents' embrace. Children raised this way have a closer relationship with their parents, are psychologically healthier, and have stronger language skills. The stronger one's reading ability, the greater the capacity to collect, understand, judge information, achieve personal goals, expand knowledge, develop potential, and utilize information. This allows for continuous learning. International adult literacy surveys have found that if one does not read for a long time, reading ability will gradually deteriorate. Cultural assets outweigh material wealth. The more literary works and artworks in the home, and the more parents discuss books, movies, and TV programs with their children, the stronger the children's reading ability. The Goose Mom activity at the Vancouver Public Library allows parents to bring infants under 2 years old to clap, sing nursery rhymes, tell stories, and read aloud to them weekly. This helps them learn to be still, while developing multiple potentials. The former director of the Vancouver Public Library, Douglas, suggests that expectant mothers and fathers should prepare children's books, in addition to baby supplies, to break the inequality between innate and acquired factors. The earlier the reading starts, the better the future reading and writing skills and economic income. Reading is the most fundamental way to change poverty. Australia cultivates top-notch citizens without textbooks. Australian students don't have Chinese textbooks, but read different materials every day according to their learning pace, reading 60 to 130 books a year. 10 minutes of morning reading brings lifelong happiness. Everyone reads together, reading whatever they like, enjoying reading without assessment or competition. Singing to babies in the morning and reading stories to children at night deeply influence the formation of neural networks. A healthy and rich brain is the most important asset for life. Gillian's poem. The Reading Mother. You may have untold wealth, chests of jewels and coffers of gold, but I had a mother who read to me. Reading aloud to children in their early years can link reading with a sense of pleasure, potentially influencing their lifelong reading habits. Through reading, we can transcend environmental limitations, travel through time and space, and understand different cultures. Without reading, one can only live in one's own time and space. Extensive reading to gain breadth of knowledge and cultivate cross-disciplinary interests is one of the requirements for stimulating creativity. Books are the navigators of human life. Opening the pages, we enter the wonderful world of books, finding the playground of the soul and the treasure trove of wisdom. People over 70 who have read books for 5 years have a 14 times lower chance of getting Alzheimer's disease compared to their illiterate peers. The more the brain is used, the more agile it becomes, and the easier it is to avoid Alzheimer's. Imagination without factual basis cannot form creativity. Extensive reading opens our horizons, allowing us to modify our designs based on the experiences of others described in books, and thereby create new things. Without reading to achieve knowledge inheritance, each generation would have to reinvent the wheel, and human civilization could not accumulate or progress. Parents leading by example to cultivate reading habits are like gardeners in the secret garden of their children's reading. If you want children to establish reading habits from an early age, parents themselves must enjoy reading, understand reading, and treat reading as a family priority. After parents at Mingdao High School joined the reading movement, many shared that they now have common topics of conversation. Their parent-child relationship has become surprisingly harmonious, and the family's focus has shifted from TV to books. Some families have even launched a TV backwards campaign. More importantly, parents have developed more empathy. One parent said, "After relearning, I realized that learning is not an easy thing. Sometimes children feel unfair when they see their parents watching TV instead of reading. Similarly, the poor sometimes feel unfair when they see the rich have cars and houses. In fact, being able to live healthily is already a blessing. We need to calm down and think about the possibility that the better off may have accumulated merit and virtue from previous lives, and now enjoy this blessing. What we need to do is to accumulate merit and virtue through genuine altruism and helping others. As long as we can improve a little bit every day, the next life may be even better." In 2000, the Taipei city government launched a 10-minute morning reading movement in 13 schools. Although some questioned the effectiveness of 10-minute reading, a student at the National Taiwan Normal University Primary School told the teacher that even the mischievous students joined us in reading. In the world of children's reading, intervene less, prepare more, and even when children encounter problems due to reading, clearly tell them that there are many questions that even adults don't know the answers to. If they are really interested, they can go find relevant books to seek the answers. This kind of free, creative, critical, and lifelong reading may become a habit. Qin Chi, former Taiwan high-speed rail chairman. "I really enjoy reading. Revisiting old books is not nostalgia, but an affirmation of their great influence on me. That is a record of a generation, and it is quite complete." Zhu Tianqin, writer. "I believe that school textbooks and institutional education will eventually graduate, but a truly good reading habit is something that can stay with you for life, a habit that is useful and enjoyable forever. I think it's really worth it. Reading is a way of looking at the world. Some worlds are visible to the naked eye, but more often, the world is understood through reading." How parents guide children's reading. Take children to the library and bookstores, implement 10 minutes of bedtime reading time daily, not just reading text, but also letting children see and touch, investing emotion in reading stories. Reading is not about competing for scores, so don't link reading outcomes to academic performance, as this will put pressure on children and make them dislike reading. Don't take away their joy. No need to explicitly impart values, just prepare the books and environment beforehand, and have natural discussions afterwards, without leaving traces. Don't let children only read one type of book, guide them to read different genres. Childhood play is the source of creativity. Play and imagination are the foundation for all future abilities. Morris Chang, TSMC chairman. Hemingway described his time in Paris as a movable feast. The movable feast of a year at Harvard, where the nourishment and aftertaste of reading Western literature remains undiminished to this day. Through observation, reading, learning, thinking, and trying, one can construct a reasonable skepticism, maintaining independent thinking and clear self-judgment. Ho Wen-yong, writer. From my own and my children's experiences, I see that although there are some obstacles in reading, as long as there is passion in the books and one's own interest, they can be overcome.